Dímelo, dímelo, dímelo. Bueno, mi gente, es OmarFlowTv una vez más y el remix con el Tsunami. Ki Colón, luego de su tremenda pelea que tuvimos allá en el Barclays Center, que mucha gente fueron a ver allá el 10 de enero en la cartera de Fresh Promotion. Dímelo, Ki, ¿qué es la que, papá?
What's going on? What's going on?
What's going on? Everything good?
Everything good. Everything good. How are you?
I'm doing great, brother. Now let's get it starting right away.
All
How you
right.
been after the fight? Your body, how is everything going so far?
Everything's good. My body's good. I don't have no injuries. I've been good, just resting up. Still staying active.
Perfect, perfect. That was it was supposed to be an 8 rounder. You finished it in the 7. That's the longest you've been in a fight, right? In a pro fight?
Yeah, that's the longest. The longest I've been in a pro fight. Yep.
Because I'm sure in sparring you done your thing in pretty long
Yeah.
rounds. How did it felt with another pro? The obviously it was very obvious during the fight that he was running away. But how do you feel about that?
It, it was a good fight. I've been saying, no matter what he's doing, it's my job to do what I have to do. No matter what he's doing, if he's not trying to engage, it was a couple times. The ref was like, "Come on, like fight." Like throw some punches, um, encouraging him to get it on. But it is what it is. It's my job to get it done. And we got 8 rounds. So I wasn't trying to rush it, taking my time, and just allowing the things to come to me.
Perfect. Now, fighting at the Barclays Center, I know you've been there before. Now, this time, under fresh promotion for that fight, anything different that you felt that particular night in versus any other night that you have fought, like the Garcia night and all that stuff that you've been there before?
Nah, everything was the same. Um, for the most part, it's probably like a little smaller, but everything is the same. Come fight night. We just the main job is to go out there, be victorious, win, and just keep doing my thing. That's the main objective.
100%. Now, during the fight, there was a couple of, there was a lot of people screaming. I was for your fight. I didn't work. I was supposed to be ringside taking pictures, and I stepped back and I was on first row because I wanted to watch you like in
Okay.
detail. I have mad people behind me, and they were straight up right behind where Marquez was talking and all them people for the TV, and man, they were loud, and these were like straight up island Puerto Ricans. They were loud as hell. It was hilarious because there was some Haney family there as well. They were sitting right in front of the Puerto
Okay.
Rican crowd, and everybody was screaming your name and "Dale Bori, Dale Bori." Everybody was going wild. You started the night, and you started the night the right way because I saw your intentions. They were very, very, very clear from the jump. I felt, and correct me if I'm wrong, I felt that although you were working and you were doing your thing, when you noticed that it was up to you to go get this done because he wasn't going to play a part in your game plan, you threw an
Yeah.
extra gear and you just went at it because you were, to me, it felt like you were looking for a flat out, like go to sleep knockout.
Yeah. Yeah. Throughout the night, like I said, a lot of people they look at fights and they be like, "Oh, he's running, so you should know to cut off the ring and do this and do that." It's like we got 8 rounds, we got time. If I follow in the round one, all right, we still got the fourth round, fifth round. If it's another thing is too is they want everything to be done right then and there, right then and there. It's like, nah, this guy's still fresh. I'm gonna let him, let him get a little bit tired. Let him throw some punches. You know, let him feel my presence a little bit before I even start adjusting. So that's another thing. But yeah, I definitely wanted a cleaner finish. And that's why at the end of the fight I was a little mad because I'm like, dang, he just ran around the ring for these 7 rounds, and that I just wanted a better finish than that one. Just a more spectacular finish. But it is what it is. A victory is a victory.
I saw it in your face when he stood. Like you kept talking to him when he was going down. What were you telling him? Get up, don't stay
Yeah, yeah. I was telling him like, get up, cause I wanted. Like, that's not the one I wanted. You know, I wanted to get a cleaner one where there was a body shot, whatever it may be. But I'm like, come on, get up. You know, we ran around the ring for a little bit, a little bit of time. You know, let's not, you know, get a fan sign that they want to see. So that was my thing.
Yeah, I saw you. I heard you. I was like, oh, yeah, he's telling him to get up. He want to put some pause on this dude. And when he stood down, like finally, you were like, you didn't even celebrate it for like a good
Yeah,
minute. You just stood there like, what the fuck, bro? You gonna stay down there now? But I
yeah,
liked it. One thing that I wanted to bring up because I know you mentioned that I was having a conversation with other people after the fight. And they were telling me, yo, what do you think about Keith Colon? Because they saw you here. So, they were all coming up. And I was like, look, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. And I said the same thing you were saying. A lot of people want these fights to be over right away. I want you guys to understand, this is great for him. Going 7
yeah,
rounds, this is more experience for him. He has 9. He had 8 fights. We want him to go a little longer. We want him to fight a guy that's running away from him. These are different things
yeah,
that you want to experience as a young fighter because this is what gives you experience. And the fact that you were saying,
yeah,
it's too early. Work the rounds. Take your time. It wasn't like you were in any danger. By the way, you were dominating the
yeah.
entire
No,
fight.
yeah. And at the same time, it would be different if it was more of like a how can I say, if it was more of like a back and forth type fight, it's like, if it was a more back and forth type fight from round one, then it's like, we gotta win every round, every exchange, and stay control. But this fight wasn't that. I feel like you said, I was in control. Um, yeah, it's certain things that you want to see a fighter do, but at the same time, I'm not gonna make it hard on myself. I'm not going to chase a person around the ring if he got a whole bunch of energy the first 3 rounds. Like, nah, I'll let him run around. I'll let him run around the first 3 rounds, and then 4, 5, 6. That's when I'm gonna start, making it harder and start making it harder for him and start landing my shots and adjusting and doing what I gotta do. So that was just the psychological thinking behind it.
And I think a lot of people, because most of the fans, especially Puerto Ricans, fans are super hardcore. Like they very demanding, but a lot of them never been in the ring. They don't know how it works. So were
Yeah,
you saying, let this dude blow out his energy? Like just let him go. He's running away. He gonna get tired. When he gets tired, I'm gonna put some hands on him. Right now, I'm working on little things. I'm doing my little changing levels, fainting a little bit here and there, and
yeah.
make it easy for yourself. It just makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And everybody got their own opinion. That's a boxing world. It's all about opinions, perspectives. That's why you got 4 different judges because everybody sees something different. But yeah, like I don't put no pressure on myself to try to please anybody. I know at the end of the day, if you be victorious, that's all that matters.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters. That W in your record
Yeah,
right after the fight. That's all we care about at the end of the day, because
that,
that's gonna take it to the next level. We're not taking no step back; it's a step forward anyway.
nah,
Um, yeah, I also I was listening to some people in other podcasts, and they were saying like, "Man, Keith got hit a little bit too much." My thing to that is
yeah,
you got to remember, I don't think Keith felt this dude's power at all. And Homeboy was running. Keith is coming forward. So he was just like, come on,
yeah,
throw. You wanted him to throw. I feel like you were baiting him to get into a little exchange so you
yeah.
could grab him with a good one.
Yeah, it was a certain point in time, like especially in the beginning, you'll see me just put my hands up and like get low, like let him hit me, I put my hands up and just let him hit me. Um, but like you said, it's all about, people don't understand range. From the outside looking in, you may feel like a person is close or whatnot, but it was a lot of points of time in the fight where I was just like running towards him, or I just had my hands up walking towards him. And this is we in the professionals. The amateurs is hit and don't get hit, and the pros is you gotta hurt your opponent and you don't get hurt. So, just understanding and understanding the opponent too. If I'm up there, just trying to be super sharp, like at a reflex battle, that's not. I don't like that. When I get in the ring, I want my opponent to not even want to be there with me. I feel like that's what I did.
And I think a lot of them people had never seen you fight before. So they don't know. I
Yeah,
think they were expecting like some sort of like you moving, running or something. I was like, that's not Keith. He gonna come. He don't got 8 knockouts for
yeah,
no reason. He wants to fight. That's what the dude
yeah,
homeboy
yeah,
took off running because Keith is not giving him no. He wants to duke it out. It's just he's gonna do it smart. There's a way of doing things, and I don't think a lot of them seen you fight, but I think this was a good introduction because you set the table for knockout fest pretty much other than one fight. Like once you got your
yeah,
knockout, you literally lit up that room. People started coming in.
yeah.
People started screaming. Could you hear the fans screaming while you were in there?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I feel like I really feel like how can I say this? I feel like the way how it looked versus what I heard just didn't match at all. It's like it felt like it was way more people there. It felt like it was like yeah, it just felt like a lot of people was there. It felt like it was like a full on packed out show just by like all the noise that I heard. Um, Even just from coming out the tunnel, stepping into the ring, fighting. It was just a lot. So that right there, I was like, yeah, I definitely heard everybody, heard everything. But it was fun though, and I enjoyed it.
Bro, when you were coming out of the tunnel, it was hilarious because I was at the press box. And so they announced you were coming out, right? They turned on the lights, they got the music. Dude, I seen people running towards that tunnel, like on the side of the tunnel. I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit, this is real. Like, well, I know what you mean because once I went to the front row, and so you know how rounds were going. And one thing that was weird, I don't know if you caught on to it, there was no ring card in between rounds. There was nobody holding.
Nah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy because in the middle of the fight, I'm asking my coach, we talking. I'm like, yeah, what round we in? And he's like, and I'm looking, but like, I'm like, yeah, what round we in? What round we in? I never seen no ring card. Now that you say it.
I was yelling, like I'm in front row and I'm trying to yell, but my voice is not good for yelling. So I'm like yelling you the round number, the round count, because I'm like, yo, Keith
Oh,
this is important. But it was so loud that at one point my wife and I were looking at the fight, and I had some of the friends of mine next to me, and we literally had to look back because it was so loud. People yelling like "Bodie" and this and that. So we're like, what?
yeah,
Like this shit is loud. Like it felt like you were saying like it was a whole house just literally right on top of the ring, just yelling. It was really loud.
yeah.
But it's a
Nah,
good
it was
experience.
definitely a lot of people there, and a lot of support for sure.
Yeah, I had a lot of people were surprised about how you were moving and how people were asking about you, especially to us, the media, when you guys left from the after the weigh-in, how people were asking like, "Yo, you seen Keith? Hey, you seen that?" And a lot of people were like, "Man, this guy has a lot of following. Like, people are asking about him,
Yeah,
and this is a good thing for you because you're young and you starting, and not a lot of people. There's fighters that got 30 fights and nobody's asking about them at all. So this
yup,
is a good thing. The fact that you got to fight in a PR card, pretty, Puerto Rican promoter, Puerto Rican main event, Puerto Rican co-main event. Every fight after you was a Puerto Rican fighter. It was like
right.
one of those things that a lot of people don't get to. A lot of Puerto Rican fighters don't get to experience that whole, us versus the world type of night. Like you,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah. And it was that right there. It's a blessing, and a lot of people they was asking me, they was asking me like, dang, even about the way how the show did it and the aspect of like its ticket sales. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta understand, like these is all Puerto Rican fighters, from Puerto Rico. Like they don't have no support system over here. A lot of these fans is from Puerto Rico. And a lot of them do come up, but like, like we not, we also like we ain't like the most money having people either, like we work hard for what we have and like the support is there. But you gotta understand, like, look at this card. We got 6 Puerto Rican fighters, 7 Puerto Rican fighters. Like, you gotta understand like what we at stake at right now. So
yeah, and also, making history the way it was done. Like this was the first car by a Puerto
right,
Rican from the island promoter taking it out of Puerto Rico
exactly.
to a big stage, Barclays Center in New York, and you fighting there. I think the everything was aligned. Like, man, like when you look back, and I'm like, man, not only Keith got to set the stage because he got the first knockout of the night from a bunch of knockouts that happened out throughout the night. He's also fighting in the first card where it's a
Right.
Puerto Rican promoter full of Puerto Rican fighters because the Ojo fight fell off against Hendry, so it
Yep.
became a whole Puerto Rican fest. And I was like, the way everything is being built in your career is kind of weird. Like you get to land in these cards where they're like, this is a historic fight from the island because we're looking at it like, man, we did it. Finally, one of our promoters went
Yeah.
out there, went a bit, and brought the game to New York from the island. Usually, we just end up doing
Right.
it inside the island.
Right. Right.
So it
Yeah.
was
For sure.
good. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say and if people would if he would have had if Fresh Productions would have had it in the islands, it would have for sure been packed out. Like that without a question. But like how you said, it's his first show. How many people are successful they first anything? Not too many. So, and I feel like it was a great turnout. But that's just props to them, Fresh Productions, man. Like that was a hell of a show.
Yeah, so many people were talking about like, oh, it was so empty, and I'm like, y'all weren't there. For sure, y'all weren't
Nah,
there
yeah,
because it was not empty. Like when you looked at it, the show, there was plenty. Yeah, there were obviously open seats, but when you look at
yeah,
the way we thought it was going to be less people, and
yeah,
then all of a sudden, all these people showed up, and it was loud as hell. I mean, we
yeah,
already
yeah,
loud. We're loud anyways.
yeah. And
and,
I feel like it could have easily been packed out, because like just think about it, right? The main event is Matias, a Puerto Rican fighter, not from like any of like the New Jersey area against a UK fighter. Again, he's not from over here, So and even a co-main event, none of them guys was from over here. So in retrospect, it's like yeah, like of course this is not a like a if they would have even had like a C-level fighter from New York, then they would have probably been sold out right then and there because that's another easy 200 to 300 fans right there. You get what I'm saying? So like people, they don't understand it though. They don't get it
I had that
sometimes.
same conversation with someone, I think 2 days, 3 days before the fight. I told him, I'm like, look, I think the only thing that was missing here was getting at least two local fighters,
Yeah,
C class, it didn't matter. And they would have brought at least 200 people each. If you would have had two people from the local, bringing people from that area, it would have just been
for
even packed.
sure.
It would have done great. I mean, it did good, but it would have been even better. I
It would
think
have
the
filled
same.
up. It would have filled up.
Mhm. Now, you watched the rest of the card that night.
Yeah, yeah. I watched mostly all the fights.
Who impressed you the most? That when you saw, you're like, holy, yo, like this is good.
Um, who impressed me the most? It it had to be. It was the fight right after mine.
Was it
That fight
Nestor,
right.
the Bravo versus Campa? That he knocked him out with that left hook
Yeah, yeah,
head
yeah, yeah.
first.
That right there was crazy. I'm talking about like I didn't see it in person, but I didn't even see the original, like the initial knockout. I just heard. I'm in the back with the doctor, and I just heard the people go like I'm talking about. It wasn't even go crazy. Nah, it was just like a different type of wave that went through the arena. And I was like, and I had looked at the TV back there, and I just seen a guy just flat out face down. I'm like, yeah, that fight right there was crazy. And
That was a nasty.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was a
that was a
nasty.
nasty knockout right there. So that fight right there definitely, shocked me and impressed me for sure.
And he needed that because he was coming from losing his undefeated record in
Yeah,
PR, coming now back, getting back to his team, and now coming back to New York with that left hook from fucking hell, like boom, no hands, homeboy went no hands. I was like,
straight
damn,
chin,
yeah, that was
straight chin.
nasty. And then also JBL Sintron getting caught in the first round, getting
Yeah,
dropped. gets up and finish doing the
That was
first
a
round
great
as well.
fight.
Yeah,
That
that
was a
was.
great fight.
I'm telling you, you unlocked something that night because as soon as your knockout happened, it was all knockouts except for the Manny and Diaz fight, which
Yeah.
most of us knew that was going to be a longer. Diaz
Mm-hmm.
is he knows how to survive in there,
Yeah,
and
he's a
even
vet.
though I was in the corner for the Manny's fight because I went in the ringside at that point, so I'm listening to everything they're talking about. And his Manny wanted to knock him out, so Manny stopped boxing. He was straight up just trading with him because
Yeah.
he was looking for the knockout. And his corner is telling him, Manny, you're not gonna knock the dude out tonight. So just box him, be smart. And
Yeah.
he said, nah, I'm gonna try it again. Boom. They were just going because you got to think about it. I'm sure Manny's a seasoned two-time world champion. He knows what's going on, but he also knows like, okay, everybody got a knockout in the house. I'm
Yeah.
to get my knockout tonight before we pass the
Exactly.
torch.
Yeah. I
But
didn't get to see that fight because that was around the same time. Like that's when I kind of came out the arena. Just seeing my family and everybody. So I didn't really get to see that fight too much.
And now when you look at the whole night, right? It was pretty successful for the promotion. Now it was heartbroken for Puerto Rican fans. It was a heartbreaking event for us. That main event, as it was when you see this whole thing. What do you want for you next? Like, where do you see yourself going now? Like, have you thought about that yet?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. In a perfect world, of course, I love to get on another great card, whether that's in Jersey, New York, PA. I don't even want to say great card, another mainstream card, um, because it felt good, just representing for my family, my everything, everything that I work for, and I got the skills, I got the support behind me, I got the ability to do it on a high level, I'm only gonna go up from here. This fight right here was 8 rounds, so we're looking for another 8 rounder and hopefully a better fight than last. A better opponent with better skills. Everything is just gonna get better and better and better. So, with my last fight being on pay-per-view, my next fight, we aim to do the same thing, just getting on another mainstream card where I'm able to showcase my skills and my talent.
Perfect. Are you looking to stay on your own terms and do like one fight deals with different promotions so you can stay open? Or are you looking to get married with a promotional company?
Yeah, no. If something comes up and it makes sense, we all for it. But as of right now, it's until an offer or anything is being brought, for right now, it's just best that I'm able to freelance because like I said, I'm able to you know I'm at that stage now where it's only gonna get greater. So it doesn't make sense to just put all the hard work in that like before just to give up the just to give it up now, just sign with somebody. Um, we closer to the world title than we are away from it, so it only makes sense.
Yeah, and also, I right now in the station you are, I was thinking that this week. I'm like, man, him going with certain whatever promotion company it is, and then throttling him down to maybe like one fight a year or something. When he right now he needs to move. So the fact that now he can freelance and let's go over here, let's go over there. This is only going to help his career because especially in your weight class because
Yeah,
it's moving pretty fast and you're showing that you have what it takes. Obviously, we're moving up little by little, but that's the point, right? To get a better, going from better to better. Now, I would love to watch you fight, and I think you will blow the hell up if you fight in Orlando.
yeah,
I think if you come to Orlando to one of those Caribbean Royale fights, the MVP sometimes do or whatever, do the Orlando fan base is ridiculous. The Florida fan base, and I don't think a lot of people. I think Jake Paul is one of the only ones that's caught on to this game. They will
yeah,
they'll fill that place up immediately, and
yeah,
I would love to watch a fight in Orlando, Florida. I think there's a different type of Latino community on this side. Basically, you got a bunch
Exactly.
of Puerto Ricans in Orlando. It's like little Puerto Rico. The only difference is that obviously, as we know, living in the U.S. and in Florida, they're a little bit easier for them to move, go over there than flying from the country all the time out of the
Exactly. Yep.
country. To fights is a little bit easier. Actually, for your fight in New York, I know for personally from our chats that a lot of people from Florida were there. A lot of
Yeah.
people from Florida. So I think you having already, your Jersey, New York, that area that you already know and you already got your fan base. Moving to the South down here, Florida, I think it'll just tie up that whole group, and you have the charisma. You got the personality, and obviously when you come to Florida with that Puerto Rican flag, it
Yeah.
changes the game. So I would
For
love
sure.
in one of these fights or here, if you guys get a break to go to get a fight here in Orlando, I think it'll do great things for your career.
Yeah, nah, for sure. And that's something that we definitely interested in. Uh, like how you said, what's next? I feel like that would make sense as well. Orlando, they've built, they started to build a great community around boxing, and especially with Orlando being very close to Puerto Rico. A lot of boxing fans, even boxers in general, migrated to Orlando, and like for boxing, it's been brewing. And I feel like that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I almost had a chance to fight in Orlando one time, and
Damn.
it just fell through, but everything is a blessing in disguise. I feel like now it'll be bigger anyways.
I was just gonna say that it'll be bigger. It'll be people a lot of people know you, especially fighting in this fresh promotion boxing card. There was so many people from Florida following that car and just traveling
Yeah.
to New York for that car that I think it just opened even bigger doors. But that Caribe Royale is literally like I know like back in the days for a while Florida was kind of dead when it came to boxing. Like, you have to get out of here but now it's like coming back and it's coming back strong thanks to Caribe Royale. And all the promotions that are doing fights there. So I think it'll be a good thing for you to fight on this side of Florida, obviously.
Yeah.
Is there any name that you ever since the fight you kind of looked at and you said, I know we talked about a name last time, but is there any name now? Because now you're going from W to W, from
Yeah.
pay-per-view to pay-per-view. So now where do you see yourself going now? Any name you like?
Like fighter wise,
Hmm.
to be honest, let me see. Uh, if I'm being honest, like I thought about that. I thought about that a while. And I gotta be smarter with things that I say,
Yes,
because I say that to say it's like, it's not me giving them an opportunity. That'd be them giving me an opportunity. So it's like I ain't even gonna, you feel me? I'm not even gonna do it.
I
Whoever wanna
like
give me
this.
opportunity, I'm grateful for it. And I'm willing to put on a show with anybody that's, whether they ranked above me, or anything along those lines.
I like it. I like that attitude because, at this career, it's not like you said. It's not that you're not trying to give anybody a chance or anything, but this is not the time for that. This is the time to grow. So
Yeah, and in the boxing where people, like, they kind of they take things personally. You call them out, and they like, oh, I ain't even gonna give him an opportunity because he called me. Yeah, I'd rather fight him. It's just like, I just rather, you know, play
yeah,
it
yeah,
smart.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Boxing is kind of weird, especially it's
Yeah,
crazy because this is the sport that you get hit. Like, for example, you call somebody out, they didn't like it. Well, guess what? I get to fight him. We get in the
yeah,
ring and we just duke it out. No,
exactly.
if anything, they'll be like, you know what? I'm not giving him a chance now because he
Yep,
called me out.
exactly.
It's kind of weird. Now we do have newer promotions surfing coming up in the surface, like Sufa promotion. Now I was thinking about you because the 23rd, Sufa has a fight coming up, and I remember back. I don't know if they have changed anything, but I remember
Uh,
when they first started coming out, they were looking for undefeated fighters in a certain weight class. You literally fit every single
yeah,
criteria they're looking for. But in that car, in Friday, January 23rd, they have a couple 126s there.
yeah.
Um, they have a 5-0 fighter, Troy Nash.
Okay,
He's fighting Jacob Ramos, which he's 4-0.
Okay, okay.
126 is a 6-rounder fight. They both 126. They also gonna have their and I'm sure you know these names. Omar Trinidad, he's gonna fight there. Trinidad is 19-0 with
That's the
2
second
draws.
time I heard his name, but I'm not sure who he is. I don't think I ever saw him fight. But
He's ranked.
okay,
I'm trying to see if he's ranked number 5. Yeah, he's 5th in WBO and WBC.
okay,
He's
okay.
ranked number 5. He's fighting on Friday as well in that Sufa boxing match against, who is he fighting? Let me double check here. Max Ornelas, which he's 17-2. So there's at least
Okay.
2 126s there that are gonna be, Friday. Anything can happen because, for example, Trinidad is ranked 5 in 2 organizations, WBO and
Yeah.
WBC, and then you got 2 guys that are 5-0 and 4-0. And as
Right,
soon as
right.
I saw this, I'm like, damn, like Keith for sure could get because they're focusing on those weight class 118, 130, 126. This is what they're
Nice.
doing now, Sufa boxing, but they want young fighters. You can't be older than, I want to say, maybe 25, and you have to be a certain record. And I think you fit like every criteria. You're a
Yeah.
knockout artist, undefeated, young fighter, and they have some 926s that could definitely do the job. So I wanted to bring that up so you could kind of go look and see, because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
never
yeah,
know,
for sure.
the phone can ring at any minute.
What you know what like what they fight on, like what platform they fight on, or
They just signed with Paramount Plus because they're Super
oh, okay,
Boxing is
okay.
right. The one that's running Super Boxing is Dana White, so they're owned by the
Oh,
same people that own the UFC.
okay, okay,
So,
okay.
but they're in cahoot with Turkey Al Sheikh. So they're
Okay.
the, he's back in the project as well. So it's like they're all together. Sufa Boxing.
Got it.
Actually, this fight is gonna be in Las Vegas, what they used to call the Apex Center, which is where the small thing they did to do smaller fights during the COVID.
Yeah.
Now Facebook Meta just bought it, or didn't buy it, just invested more in it. So now it's called the UFC Meta Apex.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
this is gonna be this Friday. It's gonna be in Las Vegas to Paramount Plus. So I thought about it. I'm like, he needs to look at this, guys. They got a couple
Yeah.
126s there, and they got a couple 5-0, 4-0. So you
Nah,
never
it
know. You
makes
can get a
sense.
call.
Yeah, yeah,
You can
for
get a
sure, for
call.
sure. Phone is always open. Always.
When you see yourself coming back around, like, or like, if in a perfect world, when will you see yourself coming back?
I'd say around like late March, early April.
That's good.
Yeah, late March, early April.
So you
Um,
barely got hit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But at this stage, it's not even about the fights. It's really not. A lot of times, like in this fight, more wear and tear on the body happens during training camps, the
Facts.
training. Even right now, like I was in the gym today, I felt good. Just doing everything, but a lot of people they get caught up in the world of like being a gym fighter. Like Floyd said it best. He's like, yeah, I got touched up a couple times during sparring, and people outwork me in training, but when the lights come on, that's when I show up. I'm undefeated under the lights, and that's what people fail to realize is, you could be a gym fighter, you could run more miles than me, you could hit the bag harder than me, but I'm a fighter under the lights. So that's what I like to, associate myself with. Is I don't want to win the fight in the gym. Nah, I want to win it when we get in the ring.
That's 100%. I remember when Floyd said that. Actually,
Yeah,
um, I talked to a couple of, one of my friends is with Fredo Vasquez, Papito Vázquez Jr., ex-world champion from Puerto Rico. And we talked about that a lot because he never had any amateur career. He went straight to pro. And he
yeah,
said, man, I had times in the gym when I would get lit up because it just happens. But when it's time, when the cameras are on, when the people are screaming, when the lights are on, I don't know, it's a switch. I'm ready to
yeah.
go and I'm ready to perform. That because it's a performance at the end of the day that counts. And he's
Got
like,
it.
in the gym, you go to get ready, and like you say, a lot of people don't understand also that that's where you get your injuries is training, all the weight cut, putting yourself down, bringing back up, and all this stuff. But it's about when you in the lights, what can you do with what you did? You did the work behind closed door. Okay,
Right.
can you repeat that? Can you bring that to the light?
Exactly.
Big difference there. And I think there's a lot of people that can't do that, to be honest with
Nah. They can't. They can't. Um, it's a lot of fighters that was great in the gym. If I'm not even mistaken, it was somebody, like that was from over here back in that was from Newark back in the day, and he was great. Like I think if I'm not mistaken, he was getting paid by like somebody like Mike Tyson or something for sparring, and then Mike Tyson heard that he was in a training camp with one of his partners, and he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna just pay you to just to sit in my gym and not do nothing," because he was that good in the gym. He was that good in the gym, but it just didn't translate to the fights.
and that happens a lot, which it sucks, but it's part of the game. It's part of the
Yeah,
game. You got people that in the gym, and I was talking to other podcasters about this because, like in Pennsylvania, in that area, you see that a lot.
yeah,
You see fighters that when you go to a gym, people you don't even know their names. Some people don't even know who the hell they are, and I'm like, don't get in the ring with him. He gon' You don't want that smoke
yeah,
because when he's in the gym, he could come from nowhere. He could come take out his boots, put his
yeah,
boxing shoes on, and he gonna fuck you up. And
yeah,
I'm like, but now it never translated into doing it in a real fight, but in the gym, he'll mess people up left and right. It's one of those things. I've seen it. It's sad, but it's part of the game. It's one of those things where you can't control it. I don't know what it is. It's like a mental switch. I'm
yeah.
not
It
sure
is.
because they do the work. It just
Yeah,
doesn't translate.
yeah. It just doesn't show up.
But I could tell when you under them lights, the way you smile, the way you looking for certain things, it's like the world stops and you own it.
Yeah,
No matter what's happening in that arena, I noticed that when you were there, you had a mission, right? You put your hands up, you wanted to feel this dude, boom, and you were looking for him. And I could see like when you were talking to him, like, don't stay down. You were like, it was like a performance. Like you're like,
yeah,
I wanna do more. Get up, because I'm gonna whoop your ass and I'm gonna put you down and you're gonna get up. And I was like, this door is on.
yeah. You know what it is? Is that like you said, we work so hard in the gym. We make sacrifices, everything. Sacrifice time for my family. I'm 23 years old. There's a whole bunch of things I could be doing right now. You know what I'm saying? But I'm in the gym working, just putting in the overtime. You know, last fight I had 8 rounds. To showcase everything that I've been training for and doing in just 8 rounds. It's easier said than done, but it's like I want to show it. So it's like nah, like you got to get back up. I ain't trained this hard for this. It's like I want to show more. I want to display my skills to the world. Everything that I've been working on, all my skills, everything that that I've been preparing for this night. So that's really what it is.
Yeah, you was like a lion, and he was like your prey. You was just get up. I'm not done. I'm like, damn, boy, it's about to get fucked up. Yeah, it was. I liked it. I know there's little things, and I always tell everyone has something to fix. No matter
Yeah,
who you are, you could be a world champion. You finish a fight, and as soon as you finish a fight, I'm sure your coach is gonna be like, I noticed that because styles makes fight.
yeah,
So
yeah.
is one of that your team told you anything. I don't want you to say anything that you're working on here,
Yeah.
but things were said, how you feel about it, your performance, how did the corner saw it, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. No. My corner, the first thing they said to me was like when I was in the corner was because like I don't have to say too much. They know me. They've been training, so I don't even have to talk for them to understand what I'm thinking or how I'm feeling. Just based off me being in the corner and not celebrating. A lot of my fights, you see me jump up on the ropes. Say what's up to everybody or whatever it is. But this fight, you just saw me just kind of relax, chilling. So I don't need to like kind of talk for them to understand me. Immediately, it was like, it was like you did good. You got to understand the task, who you fought. But at the same time, that's just the eager and me, the eagerness in me to be great and always do good and to outperform my last performance. But that's just me though. But they was happy with the performance, and they understand like we just gonna go back to the drum boards and get better.
Normal. And I saw that face in you. I was like, damn, he mad. But I was like,
Yeah,
I think, it's because you guys work so hard that, getting a guy that didn't want to engage, and and you're like, come on, man, like, come on, let's hit me, do something. You was,
Yeah,
those things could get a young fighter or even an older fighter, because I've seen it, frustrated.
yeah, for sure.
Ali went through it, when he was telling dude, get up, I'm not done, get up, so it happens to a lot of fighters, but I think this is a great learning experience at the end of the day, because I think as you progress into fights and people start feeling your hands and seeing how you work, I think you might get a little bit more of that. Like people
Yeah,
kind of not trying to engage because they're like, man, this dude, I'm not trying to get hit clean, because
right.
there's a reason why he got so many knockouts. So
Yeah,
I think this was great for you, because you get to experience that in a stage where you got so many people screaming at you, all this Puerto Rican fans there screaming, and sometimes we tend to put pressure screaming so much, and I think you managed it very well when you were the way you were working your body work, like
yeah,
every time you touched him to the body, dude was hurt.
yeah,
Like you just kept going, and it's like I said, it was hard because he it's hard to touch him when he's like moving all over the place and not trying to engage. But your body work, to me, you show a lot of maturity in the ring, because a lot of young fighters tend to forget about the body work. They're just looking for that, highlight, boom,
yeah,
knockout. And you were working that body hard. I mean, you stopped him because of that body work.
yeah, for sure. And there was a couple times, there was a couple times I did look for the big shot because you set certain things up, and like I said, I wanted a clean finish. So it's like, all right, I set something up. This to see if his head was gonna be there when I threw the punch, But it didn't work. That's another thing that people that I don't think people realize was, you know like he was good at just not being there.
Not being there.
That's great. That's great for him. Just good at not being there. Good at if just moving his feet, getting out the way, and it is what it is. But like how you said, if the big shot wasn't there, I set it up, I missed. Cool. Now we're going right back to the body work and going back to plan A. So that's all it was.
There was some hands that you threw there, bro, that the whole crowd was like, oh, like if you would
Yeah.
have caught him with, everybody knew it was over. Like immediately, like you missed it by nothing. And the
Yeah.
whole crowd, the noise, and you didn't even land the punch. And everybody was like, whoa. Like it was like literally like we practiced. The whole arena was doing that. And I look around like, holy shit, for real. If he catches with that, is over. And then all of a sudden you set back up, and it was loud when you caught him to the body. We could hear. I
Yeah,
was in
yeah,
front row there, and I could hear it. I was like, "This dude is not gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it getting hit like that in the body." And then he started protecting his body
yeah,
even more. So I'm like, okay, now he's gonna set him up to the head because he's lowering his hands. But I think it was great, man. It was a great experience. I think at the end of the day, the way I saw was thank him, because he gave you a different angle that
yeah,
even though I'm sure you've seen it probably at the gym at some point, but like you said, he was good at not being there, and
right,
because he wasn't trying to catch you with anything at some point, he was just trying to get
right,
away.
right,
So playing defense without having any offense, it helps him out because you just trying to make it through the 8 rounds. He
right,
wanted to.
right.
I felt like he wanted to mess up your knockout, all your knockouts in a row that you have. I felt like he
Yeah,
wanted to be the first one to take it to decision. And I'm
yeah,
like, I thought about it with the people next to him. I'm like, I feel like this dude's just trying to win. Even if he loses, I think he's just his win is not to get knocked out. He wants
yeah,
to take
yeah,
that knockout, 100% knockout ratio. I think that's all it is. And when you started touching him more to the body, and when you started doing it at the beginning of the round,
yeah,
that's when he just literally went straight up. His footwork, everything just plummeted. It just went
right.
down, it was downhill from there. So as a young fighter, I think, to me, kudos to you, the way you were thinking in there. I could hear your corner, and legit, your corner was doing a great job, because we were all talking about it. Sometimes you get to see a lot of fighters, but I like to listen to their corners. To me, that's
Yeah,
big. Um, because you get to see the mentality once the fighter gets to the corner.
yeah, right.
And some fighters are really good at reading what's happening on the fly, right? And some fighters are really good at listening, to the corner. But at the end of the day, it's you in there. So you got to you seeing what's happening. I could tell you something like, Keith, watch out with this. And you're like, no, it's this. I can see what he's doing. You
Yeah.
can see subtle movements and you can see things, or you could patterns that he's doing. And you're like, no, he's going over here again. And I'm going to counter over here. So the fighter is the one that knows what's going on. But I love to hear what the corner is saying, because it tells you the mentality of the corner and seeing if it matches with the fighter. And dude, your corner's mentality, I'm like, yeah, like you were saying earlier, you guys are synchronized, because they were like, what they were yelling, I'm like, yeah, they're looking for the same thing he's looking. They're looking to hurt this dude.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But you were doing it, which is great, because right when they were yelling, it was like you were already doing it. It was like so incohesive. You guys were like legit. Like I could tell what you were saying. You guys have been together for a long time, where you knew what you were doing before they even yelled it. You were doing it. I'm like, yeah, this is great. This is just a reminder at this point, because he's already doing it. So it was good. I think it was a good fight. You feel comfortable in this weight class anyway. I think you have a huge future in front of this in this 126 weight class. And there's good names in that weight class, and I think it's just a matter of time at this point. Now, you and Fresh, you guys could work in the future, I'm sure. Like everything is cool, like right?
Yeah, for sure. We enjoyed doing business with Fresh Productions and the whole show. It was a great opportunity for us. Hope they feel the same way about me being on the card. A lot of great opportunities came with this, and like I said, we have you on our side. I'm sure the same thing is for them. Everything was good. Just everything from top to bottom.
Yeah, the conversations I had with the Fresh side, they were ecstatic to have you there. They were really happy, because obviously, not only you bring a lot of following, you're not afraid to speak, right? It's very hard to find sometimes in the boxing world. You can find someone that's very talented, but doesn't want to do interviews. And I know sometimes it's like a pain, but it's like, this helps. This only helps, talking in front of a camera, doing interviews, engaging with the fans. You did all that. You did it from the weigh-in. When you got there, we were yelling at you. That place got loud when you got there with that big old Puerto Rican flag, man.
Yeah.
It was pretty insane. And the whole crowd was yelling your name. You coming out, you didn't went to the back. You came to where we were at, the whole media. So those are little things that you're doing that I feel, you see, this is what we should be doing. Instead of weighing in, getting dressed, and just go straight to the back, let's come over here. Let's talk to the media. And I know fighters sometimes are tired. You guys cut weight. You guys did so much work. You guys are ready to get that night going. But it's a sacrifice that it had to be done. You saw Subriel and you were the only ones on that side, like literally talking to people. I was watching that. I was like, isn't this crazy? You got the 140-pound WBC champ in this corner, and you got 8-0 Keith Tsunami Colon on this side.
Yeah.
Welcome any interview. Not, which is crazy. You got a whole 2-time world champion, and then you are starting your career and you're doing exactly the same thing. So all that tells me is Keith is going the right path.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not shy from the camera.
No, not at all. And that was the whole purpose of even the build up to the fight from Thursday all the way to Saturday. It's just whether other people realize it or not, I was like kind of probably the person with the least experience there. I was able to learn from everybody on the card, from the fight right after me, all the way to Matias, and even though I was fighting on the card, at the same time I was still a student of the game. Like when it's my time to get off the stage, it's Matias' time to get on the stage and to see the reception, the love, the things he do, how he acknowledge the fans, the audience. They love him. They love him, so he got to be doing something right. So it's just me as a boxer and as a student of the game. It's just like, man, I just take notes and be like, all right, that's fire,
That's a
because
big deal.
I could feel it.
Yeah, that's a big deal what you just said there, because Subriel Matias is so humble. And the guy, he's a mean machine inside the ring, but he's so humble with his fans. with media. I seen him deal with different things where you're like, you know what I'm saying? He knows how to deal with things. He just knows how to deal with it. And you know, given the fact that he was so underrated coming up and
Yeah.
the following that he has in the island is pretty ridiculous at this point. And even though
Yeah.
things happen, I heard so many people comparing this L to the Trinidad Hopkins loss. Like people are like,
Yeah.
you know, devastated. And we all are because that's our champ. You know what I'm saying? That's our dude right there. And we love him. And we know he'll come back stronger wherever he wants to do. We're behind him 100%. But seeing him how humble and how he treats people, and you actually acknowledging that and saying, that's fire. Like, I don't, this is, yeah, I see you acknowledge, you seeing what he's doing.
Yeah.
We need more of that. We need fighters to realize that more. And I know, like I said, some of us are a pain in the ass when we doing interviews, and sometimes we ask questions that you guys, nobody wants to really answer. But the
Yeah.
fact that you are able to manage that, and he's doing it as well, I think more people should look at that, because I think this is what's going to take the game to the next level. And not only
Exactly.
that, you saw how Matias learned English. I mean, his English is
Yeah.
not perfect, but he ain't scared.
Yeah.
Those little things boost you to the next level right away, because that's always been our downfall from Puerto Ricans, that they don't speak English, so they can't really give you an interview. Now
Yeah.
times are changing. Now you got people like myself who do a Spanish podcast, but then I can also speak to the English boxers and bring
Right.
them in, so our island can, you know what I'm saying? Your case was very different because you already have people asking about you in the island. Like,
Yeah.
it felt like you went to school there. Like you were just coming out every day. Like people would get mad at me, like, "Yo, when you gonna bring Keith?" And I'm like, "Well, give me
Yeah.
a minute, hold up." But the other fighters, they don't enjoy that you have, which is a blessing. The fact that you got the island people at 7 fights, asking about you. Most of this, even Latino fighters, Puerto Rican fighters that don't live in the island, they don't get to enjoy that. So
Right.
you seeing what Subriel is doing, and you actually caught on to that. That to me is huge. That you saw that, and you're like, no, this is fire. I'm gonna go that route because
Yeah.
this is the place to be. That's great. Kudos to you, because that says the maturity you have, and that you have good people around you. To
Right.
keep you level headed, because I think at the end of the day, sometimes, you know, I see fighters that they've never been world champions. You know, they're on a good trajectory, and then you start seeing them when they start like not wanting to do interviews. Nah, I don't got time
Right.
for that. And you're like, man, you're almost there. Don't do that to yourself. You need
Yeah.
to be out there. People need to talk about you. They need to see you. The minute the media don't care about talking to you and bringing you into their platforms, that's a problem to me.
Yeah. That's for sure. That's right.
Because I mean, people not asking about you, and it doesn't matter.
Yep.
So you want that. You want that people to feel hungry, and you want people to feel like they know you when you coming up. Oh, that's my boy Keith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That and you did that. Like I saw you, you know, at the weigh-in, how you treated me, my wife, you know, the team, everybody. You were like humble. You saw us. You went straight over there, grabbed that mic. What's up, bro? Boom, boom. I knew I had to do it because the guy, the commission was like, but
Yeah.
the fact that you were doing those little things, I think this is what's going to set you apart from a lot of other fighters. Not only your boxing skills, I think people need to understand that this is 2026. And I know a lot of people say, well, Tito Trinidad became a huge star and we didn't even have YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, but that was also a different time.
Yeah.
2026, where you have to do a lot more work, but you also, it's on your cell phone. You don't even got to go nowhere. Back in the
Right.
day, you
Right.
had to go to do an interview to New York or Jersey or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Now you can do it from your phone, and millions of people could watch you all over the world just from your house. So take advantage of that. I always tell them, take advantage. And I love the fact that as a young fighter, you already know this, you're working on this, you're moving, and you understand that this is the game. And it's not only about inside the ring, but it's also about outside the ring. And taking somebody like Matias as an example, seeing what the little details that he does is to me is huge. So
Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank you.
Now I know we talked about what's next for you. I know we're not going to mention any names because we want them to mention us. We ain't trying to call nobody out. You came out with no injuries, right? Everything good? Hands, knees, elbows, everything good?
Yeah. Everything was good. No injuries. Thank God. You know, successful training camp, successful fight, and we just looking for the next one now.
And I know you didn't get suspended at all, right? From
No,
the
no, no. I didn't get suspended. Nope.
Perfect. So I know you're ready for anybody out there that's trying to get, some a good fighter in their car that's
Yeah, for
ready,
sure.
right?
Yep, that's exactly right. You know, anybody, any promoter of any sort of level that's, you know, looking to expand their card, you know, have more people there, and a fighter that'll give them great fights. You know, I'm ready, and I'm all for it.
And we can attest to that. The Subriel Matias fight was only sold, and this is coming from me. Keith Colon, Henry Cedeño, that ended up not being able to fight, and Matias, Subriel Matias. These were the three guys doing the work out there, you know,
Yeah,
putting hands, touching people, posting. They were staying busy. And I could say Keith Colon did a great job with the people you brought and how the fans were behind you. So promoters are there. If you want to bring someone to a car that you know people gonna be behind him, they're gonna be loud, they're gonna bring them flags, and they're gonna be ready to go. This is the guy to go. Keith Colon is a great up and coming fighter, which I can't wait, man, to you up there for your title, and keep chopping at it, you know, to get qualified and go for those big fights. We're gonna be there the whole time. Don't forget about the little people when you hit up there.
oh yeah, nah. We gonna grow together. You know, my world champ is y'all world champ. You know,
That's
that's how I
love.
look at it.
Y'all heard that? You heard what he just said, right?
Yeah.
No, but congratulations, Keith. It was an amazing performance. I was very excited. I think it was a good fight, 100%. I said it. People need this type of fight, and you managed it very well. I think you can only go up from here. There's some big fights coming up at 126 that we talked about, and let's stay in touch. Let me know whatever you need, anything you want the people to know about you, social media, anything, any message you want to throw out there to the fans.
I just want to say thank you for having me up here. Thank everybody for supporting, you know, the wave, the movement for the last fight, everything. You know, I want to thank the people for even, you know, for allowing you to find out about me because they told you. I mean a lot. I'm super grateful. I'm gonna continue to represent. I'm gonna continue to do my thing. Each fight is only gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you know, I appreciate the support and all the love. And we just looking to keep growing.
Perfect. And for the Colon family, OmarFlowTv is always here for you guys, no matter what. You know
Thank
how
you.
to get a hold of me. It's
Yeah,
easy. I know we got our this day, that day, but no matter. We always make it happen. This is your
yeah,
house. I
for
told you from
sure.
the beginning. No matter what, this is your house. And when don't leave yet. I'm gonna shut this thing off. Don't leave yet.
I got you.
Toda mi gente, aquí estamos con Kid Colón, otra sorpresa más, ustedes saben, el nene de Puerto Rico, el del 100 por 35, el tsunami de nosotros, está listo para cualquier promoción que quiera traer a un evento, un peleador de la magnitud como es él, con los seguidores que tiene él y con la electricidad que trae dentro del ring y cómo trabaja con el media. Así que ya ustedes saben, estamos aquí, esto es OmarFlow TV, recuerda darle a la campanita, recuerda suscribirte, allá abajo está la cancha y mándale un mensaje a Kid Colón y recuerda aparecerte por sus redes sociales y suscríbete a donde está Kid Colón, allá su Instagram, y suscríbete a este canal. Dale like. Omar Flow. ¡Au!